It's time once again for the City of Maple Grove Report. I'm Dave Kaiser from CCX Media. Thanks for joining us along with Heidi Nelson, Maple Grove City Administrator. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
We have a meeting from December 1st to talk about, a rather long meeting, about an hour 20, but before that a work session. And then later in the program, lots of events coming up, as you might have guessed, in December. Yeah. So we'll tell you about some of those happening. First item on December 1st was the work session. A couple items here. The first was Planning Commission. It was interview time.
Yeah, so we had a rather long-serving Planning Commission member, Joe Paquette, step away from the Planning Commission, so we needed to recruit. We had about 15 applicants, so we really appreciate everybody who stepped forward to apply to serve the community, and interviewed 3 finalists there, and then we'll be bringing that appointment to the December 15th council meeting.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on that. The other item on the work session was scattered site housing. Again, tell us what this is and tell us about the discussion.
Yeah, so the city owns 28 housing units that are kind of scattered throughout the city, given that's why it's named that, the Scattered Site Housing Program. Really was established kind of between the late mid-90s, 1995 it started, and then I think the last house was acquired in about 2012. But this is housing that's designated towards folks that are in the 30 to 50% of annual median income, or what we call AMI, and for families in Maple Grove, so affordable housing for families in Maple Grove. I think one of the drivers of this discussion is there's been a lot of changes with the community development block grant funding that comes from the feds through the county, and we understand that we likely won't receive those dollars in the future, and so that's been a big support of this program. And so really looking at, absent that funding, are there tweaks we make to this program? What is it that we want to do here? So good discussion. We didn't wrap it up. We're going to bring it back on the 15th and try to get some policy direction from the council. So good memo out there on the website if folks are interested. Take a look at that about this housing program that the city operates.
And my guess would be those fund changes are the same for other cities in the metro area, so everyone will be talking about this.
It is, yeah, depending on what they've used their community, CDBG is kind of what the program goes by, what they've used those dollars for. I suspect every city's kind of having the same conversation. All
right, so that's it for the work session on the first. Now to the council meeting, about an hour and 20 minutes long. One item pulled from consent and more of a note of something that happens on an annual basis.
Yeah, this is our annual process to approve our fee schedule, and so we every year go through our fee schedule and review those and look for any tweaks that need to be made. So that's available out on the city website. It is adopted by ordinance, so that is available there for residents to review.
And what's the variety of fees we're talking about here? What types of things?
Yeah, so everything from development related fees, building permits, grading permits, if you're coming in for a land use application, all those types of things that relate to development and building in the community. But also, liquor license fees. We had a public hearing later in the agenda. Right. So any liquor license fees, general licensing, water, sewer, stormwater, all those types of things. So some of them are more resident-based, some are more, development business-based. But yeah, the one thing that's going to tweak a little bit more this year, and we talked about this a few updates ago, is the stormwater fee is going to be increasing a bit more this year than what our standard is. And there'll be information shared in the utility bill about that. But otherwise, kind of just the normal, increases to those water and utility rates.
Very good. So residents, watch for that information in the bills. Now to public hearings. 3 public hearings on December 1st. The first related to a new business looking to have a liquor license in town.
Yeah, so you might have noticed TGI Fridays closed over there at the Fountains area. And so Tiffany's Kitchen and Bar, morning, noon, and night, is applied for a liquor license to operate there. Unfortunately, the liquor license applicant wasn't present at the meeting, so this one got tabled and it'll come back at the December 15th meeting.
Second public hearing is something we've talked about for many months, and it is the budget for the city of Maple Grove, and this was the last hurdle, correct?
Well, second to last hurdle. So our truth and taxation hearing, so the presentation of the 2026 budget, it'll come back on December 15th for final adoption of the budget. That'll be kind of the last hurrah, but good presentation to talk through. We're at a 6.3% levy increase increase. The impact to the average home is a little bit less than what we were projecting. We were projecting around a $95 a year impact, and it went down to about $86 based on kind of the final information from the county. So a couple things driving that budget, just general, cost of doing business, wages, benefits, those types of things. Our own utility costs, costs of vehicles, those types of things. We're adding another city prosecutor in 2026, another IT technician, and then sort of towards the end of the year we'll be adding another public works maintenance worker for snow plowing. So that'll be kind of a fall hire. So that's kind of the main drivers of the budget. Good presentation out there on the website if you want to go take a look at it. But no residents' comments about the budget. So just more of a presentation for the council, and held the hearing, and then we'll move on to final adoption in later in December.
Very good, and that website is maplegrovemn.gov if you want to find out more about the budget. Final public hearing, this goes back to what we talked about in the fee schedule, but there's one that's a little bit different than the others.
Yeah, so if we adjust our liquor license rates, those require public hearing. So this was for the off-sale liquor license. We hadn't really touched those for about 10 years, and so just needed to adjust those up a little bit, doing that on a 2-year kind of basis here. So that one got approved following the public hearing.
Move ahead to community and economic development items. A couple items touched on here. First is TRICARE storage. Where is this looking to go, and tell us more about it?
Yeah, so this is kind of up in the area just kind of west of Menards, north of County Road 30, south of what's now the new 610 extension that's open up there. So I anticipate we're going to see more development up in that area as the roads and the areas are more defined. So this is a self-storage facility. It's next to the Garland Commons apartments that have been built up there. That's a senior affordable project. So a lot of discussion about the architecture. This is a 4-story facility, and they tend to be big boxes of a facility. So wanting to make sure that the architecture, related to the housing that's next door. It tends to be a very quiet use. Not a lot of traffic, not a lot of people, no noise. And so in terms of a neighbor to a residential, building in sort of a commercial area, not a bad use to have situated next door. But this was for concept stage plan, so we'll continue to look at those kind of the building materials and the architecture of this one before it comes back for development stage, but that one was approved to move forward.
And the next item, concept stage plan as well. This is Fernbrook Senior Housing, and this was the longest discussion of the evening. A lot of talk about this. Tell us more. Yeah,
so this is a city-owned lot at the corner of County Road 30 and Fernbrook there, kind of in the center of the city. This is a lot that, it's our the original Public Works facility was located there, and sort of an underutilized site there that, begs for an opportunity for something for redevelopment. And we had kind of had thought long and hard about what would be best there, and the continued need for senior affordable housing in the community. And so the city did an RFP to secure a developer for this site. So we're partnering with Ebenezer to bring forward a senior affordable project here. This will be a 90-unit project. And Ebenezer is a really great senior housing operator here in the metro area, so a good partner for the city. I think this is, it's pretty well situated here, just, with the big park facility to the west, the church just to the west, the Arboretum Park across the street. You have the Early Childhood Education Center just to the north, so there's some opportunity for, collaboration there with the kids that are there and the seniors. And so good reuse of this property. A lot of discussion about the parking. These buildings, when we think about senior housing, it's always sort of a continuum of how active people are and how much they're driving and those types of things. And so that's something you always kind of want to measure when you're looking at this type of project. You don't want to over park it, for what the need truly is going to be for who might live there. they're planning about 50 underground stalls and then 66 surface stalls today. So we had a lot of discussion about, is there an opportunity to do more underground parking, that kind of thing, and then augment parking, depending on the need, looking at, other senior housing projects in the community and how those have been parked and then how they're performing.
Sure.
So this was concept stage plan, so this one got approved, and we'll continue to kind of look at that parking. A lot of it, there's these are very difficult projects to get financed. They tend to go through the state for housing bonds, and so there's always kind of an interesting relationship about the parking, like if it's charged for, how that relates to the financing, those types of things. And so lots of things to take into consideration in terms of how they structure the capital for that building and then how they're going to operate it. So more to come on that parking equation there, but really nice architecture there. I think this will be a great project, and just look forward to more discussion about that parking as it comes forward for that development stage plan.
All right, we'll keep you up to date on that. Next upcoming items for Community Economic Development, Planning Commission meeting coming up on December 8th, and it looks like a full agenda, which will move to the council then.
Yeah, busy December for the Planning Commission. Building number 10 out in the Arbor Lakes Business Park. This is the last building kind of on the west side of the Arbor Lakes Business Park.
Amazing.
So that's really remarkable, kind of finishes out all their land. That's Endeavor Development, Josh Budish. So kind of finishes out that phase of that project. Arbor Ridge Business Park, now this is up off of formerly 105th, just north of 610, what is now Arbor Ridge Parkway, kind of about a 200,000 square foot office industrial building up there. So this is kind of the start of kind of that development up in that 610 corridor. And then a new subdivision in the Elm Road area, Juniper Hill, about 33 lots there. So those three items will be considered by the Planning Commission and then on December 8th and come back to the council if they progress on December 15th.
All right, and then one other item, an event coming up mentioned by Community Development, and that is Santa is coming to town in multiple ways, but here's way number one, at the shops.
Yeah, so this Saturday afternoon from 2 to 6, there's a big event over at the shops at Arbor Lakes. Santa at the shops. There'll be carolers, fire performers, horse-drawn trolley rides, kids' activities and crafts, selfie stations. They have food and beverages. There's a toy drive for Cross, and then the event kind of wraps up with a light parade at 4:30, followed by Santa lighting the tree at 5 p.m. So kind of a fun, festive afternoon at the shops.
And again on Saturday, December 6th, so get out there and have some fun. Engineering Public Works, the one item to touch on here is the snow.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Yeah, so a couple different plowing events over the holiday weekend. So I think things went relatively well, but we have plows in full force, and the crews are ready to go. I think there's more snow projected for next year. It's always interesting, like there's some years we have nothing and everybody's ready, and this year we hit it hard right out of the gate over Thanksgiving weekend.
That's right. Get those plows moving. A few other items to touch on here related to the roads and some things happening around town. Weaver Lake Road, Maple Grove Parkway. People know of some construction happening there, and people were asking about what's the forecast during winter, and the answer is?
They're going to keep working. So this is an Excel project. They're installing a pretty significant conduit, kind of a backhaul down to Boston Scientific, up to what will be a new kind of transformer transfer station up on the north side. So this is an Excel project. They're going to continue to work through the winter months, so there will be those lane restrictions. They will be moving north, so hopefully as they get further away from the Maple Grove Parkway Weaver Lake intersection, it'll ease things up a little bit. But just ask for folks' patience. We do see those lane restrictions continuing. And then last evening at a very inopportune time, and this was Centerpoint doing work out there, a gas line was hit right out in front of Boston Scientific. So closed the westbound lanes of Weaver Lake Road for the entire evening into the wee hours of the morning till it could be repaired. And caused a little bit of a scramble at Boston Scientific. They have a lot of employees in there and a daycare and all those types of things. So a little bit of a scramble late yesterday afternoon for our public safety folks, and then certainly for Centerpoint and their contractors. So appreciate everybody's patience through that. Never want to see a big gas line hit out there. So, but glad they were able to get out there and get it repaired before the morning rush hour and get things moving again.
All right, so everything back to normal at this point. And then final item from the meeting on the 1st, you had a quick note about another event coming up. We've talked about it a few times, and that's coming up quickly on December 6th.
Yeah, so busy day in Maple Grove this Saturday, December 6th at 7 p.m. We'll be up at the Arboretum for the Angel of Hope Memorial event. This happens every year on December 6th at 7 p.m. We have the Angel of Hope Memorial there where families can buy a brick for the loss of a loved one. In particular, this is sort of focused on the loss of a child. And so everybody's invited to attend this time of remembrance. A brief ceremony offers a space to honor loved ones. Candles are provided, and attendees are welcome to bring a white flower to place at the base of the statue. And we have participation from the local faith community, the park board, our city council. So nice event, December 6th at 7 p.m. up at the Arboretum.
All right, that's it for the council meeting, although there was one final note mentioned by a council member. Congratulations to you for 10 years of service at the city. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, 10 years flies. It's hard to believe, isn't it? So, yeah, 10 years, and appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve here.
Fantastic. All right, let's move ahead to what else is happening in the city. A lot going on, and the first note is a couple-hour time frame that the city offices are closed for a fun reason.
Yeah, so every year we do an employee recognition event around kind of that second week of December. That morning of December 11th, we'll all be gathering over at the community center. Great event. We get nearly 300 city employees gathered in one place to recognize their service. So city offices will be closed from 8 to 9:30 to make sure all employees are able to attend, and we can express our appreciation for all the work our employees do throughout the year.
And you'll probably be one of those recognized as well. So congratulations there as well. All right, winter newsletter is out and about. What are some of the highlights there, and why is this important for residents to read?
Yeah, so this covers kind of all the winter activities, snow plowing, safety reminders, lots of event and activities. So those are mailed to every home and business, but we also have extra copies at the government center if you haven't received one.
Yep, I think online as well.
Yes.
This next online as well, Mistletoes and Memories. That's perfect for the holiday season.
Yeah, so this is a guide that really talks about all the events that happen throughout the holiday season here in Maple Grove, and a lot of business promotion in terms of, you know, Small Business Saturday and continuing to shop local. So that is also available on the city website.
For a couple months, we've mentioned the Mayor for a Day contest, and believe it or not, that deadline is coming quickly. So remind us the deadline date and just what this contest is.
Yeah, so Monday, December 13th, and details can be found on the league's website at lmc.org, Mayor for a Day. Encourage folks in 4th, 5th, or 6th grade to submit their essay about what they would do if they were mayor for the day. And that's, again, run by the League of Minnesota Cities.
Yeah, fun contest. Here's another fun one. We had some graduates recognized in the city. Who were these graduates in town?
Yeah, so this is the Community Police Academy. They graduated from their 12-week program. This is a very popular program in the community, well attended. And so this was a great opportunity for those folks to be recognized for completing that work with our police department. The Academy is instrumental in connecting with citizens and understanding the work of law enforcement in the community.
And who knows, maybe some of those graduates will listen to this next item and apply. We need police reserves in the city of Maple Grove, so a great opportunity. Tell us a little bit more about what this means to be a reserve.
Yeah, so oftentimes you're right, people go through that academy and learn more about the work of the police department and piques an interest and has them then serve as a police reserve. So the police department is accepting applications for the police reserves. The reserve unit is a great way for residents to get involved in the community and gain new skills. Maple Grove's reserves represent a wide range of age group and careers, you know, from young folks all the way through folks that might be retired and looking for some way to serve in their retirement. They volunteer a portion of their time to actively participate in community service and non-criminal police functions. So sometimes helping with events, parking, traffic control, those types of things. Each reserve officer is provided with thorough training from the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. Lots of information available on the city website about that program.
All right, if you're interested, take a look at that. All right, a couple ways for residents to help out those in need in the community. The first is with toys. Tell us about the toy drive going on.
Yeah, so throughout the holiday season, the City of Maple Grove continues its partnership with Cross Services for their annual toy drive. Items are accepted through December 18th, and you can drop those off at the Government Center, the Public Safety Facility, or the Community Center. New unwrapped toys for children 10 years of age and younger. They're also looking for gift card donations for children 11 to 17, but those we want you to drop off at the police department during office hours, just so that they can be collected in an envelope and held safe. And then also you can do, Cross has an Amazon toy list available for online donations to be delivered directly to Cross, and so you can look for that information there on the Cross website. Since 1977, Cross has been addressing hunger, housing instability, and children's needs throughout Northwest Hennepin County. And then, roughly about half of the folks that are served at Cross come from Maple Grove. And so it's really an important service for this community here. So thanks to everybody for putting that toy drive and supporting that effort for Cross, and ask folks to come out and help support Cross during the holiday season.
Another partner involved in coats needed for residents of the city, and the police department is the key group behind the city end of this. Tell us about the coat drive.
Yeah, so this is the Justin Murnau Winter Warm-Up Coat Drive. We're collecting new and gently used coats through December 15th. There's a drop box in the vestibule of the public safety facility, which is open 24/7, kind of that vestibule area, so donations can be dropped off at your convenience.
All right, some important dates here, so listen up. If you want to get involved in activities not only for the winter months but also into spring, some deadlines are coming up, and this is the activity guides. They're out.
Yeah, they're out and this covers programming from January through April. Registration start date starts on December 9th for our senior program, December 10th for general programs, and then December 11th for swimming lessons. Lots of fun things to do to get you through the winter and into spring.
All right, here's a couple other fun things that are happening either right now or in the next couple weeks. The first is skating at the Loop. Everyone's heading to the Loop, aren't they?
Yeah, we had a crazy first weekend of operation. They rented over 1,500 skates over the holiday weekend here. So this weather is cooperating, and the Loop is open, and we rent skates there. You can bring your own too. Encourage folks to do that, and then there's also concessions available.
Something else coming up at the Loop. Hang with us for a second on that, but let's hop now to the farmers market. In fact, 2 times that you could go to the market in December. What are those dates?
Yeah, so these are indoor at the community center, Thursday, December 11th, and then we shift to Tuesday, December 23rd, right before the holiday there. Hours are 3 to 6 p.m. We have about 20 vendors that come for those indoor markets, so great opportunity to get some of those things leading into the holidays.
And if you're a history buff, the City of Maple Grove has something for you as well at the History Museum. Remind us where that is and what's the focus coming up for their open house.
Yeah, the History Museum is located just off of Forest View, north of 89th, kind of right next to the Public Works facility there. This winter, Call to Duty is the theme at the Maple Grove History Museum. An exhibit highlights the vital role of U.S. Armed Forces has played in the growth and development in the United States. In addition, a special display depicts a family that reflects on how military service profoundly impacts their daily lives. All ages are invited. To find out more about our community's past, an open house is scheduled for Sunday, December 14th from 1 to 4 p.m., and that's at 9030 Forest View Lane. All
right, and the day before that, on the 13th, one more event for you here, and we're back to the Loop, and the red guy's going to be there as well.
Yeah, so this is Santa at the Loop and the Rotary tree lighting. Just of note, the Rotary Club here in Maple Grove puts up all the lights at Central Park. They do it about mid-October. They come down about mid-March. It's a big effort, and so great appreciation to Doug Baines and all the members of the Maple Grove Rotary Club that are out there making that happen. Makes for a beautiful venue there at the skating Loop. So Skate with Santa, Saturday, December 13th from 4 to 7 p.m. Free skating, holiday music. The high school choir will be there. Santa, Mrs. Claus, members of the Rotary Club will be there as well. And then the Rotary tree lighting ceremony adds to the festivities. So again, bring your own skates or you can rent them there. And then donations for Cross are being collected at the event as well. Non-perishable food items or new unwrapped toys to help support Cross during the holidays.
All right, a lot going on as you see in the city, and we're going to leave leave you with the website here in just a second. Heidi, thanks for the information. We'll see you again next time.
Of course.
Here we go with the website and also that next City Council meeting date. We mentioned it a few times. That's Monday, December 15th, and it looks like there could be a lot of items. So tune in to find out what happened. And again, maplegrovemn.gov, the city's website. A lot of information there about what's happening in the city budget, and also a lot about these events. For Heidi Nelson, I'm Dave Kaiser. Thanks for joining us on the City of Maple Grove Report.